Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Mateusz Pietraszek, and today I'm talking to you in this video about an elicitation paragraph, designing an elicitation paragraph for assessing pronunciation performance. As you can see, I work at Universidad Francisco de Vitoria in Madrid, and this is the orthographic version of the title of this talk, in which I'm going to briefly introduce the topic. Then we're going to take a look at the original, the proposal of the original elicitation paragraph, and then we're going to just comment on a couple of issues related to the piloting of the procedure, and we're going to conclude. So, as you already know, probably, pronunciation. I live in and work in Spain, and pronunciation here is a pretty hot topic. People comment on each other's accents in English, okay? And well, Spanish people don't tend to be very proud of their accent. On the whole, obviously, there are exceptions, but you can see these little excerpts from the press that attest to my words. At the very same time, if you look at the research, okay, research says that students want pronunciation instruction and they consider it important. At the same time, teachers are reported not to be very keen on teaching and assessing pronunciation. And well, as very wisely put by Derwing in 2010, as with so many other areas of language proficiency, if pronunciation were tested, it would be taught. So pronunciation is not the most taught aspect of language, and it's not tested. And there are no standardized tests. Whether that is good or bad, that is a completely different topic, okay? But definitely there should be some more pronunciation instruction. Now, moving on. The lingua franca core. Well, as you probably know, I work with, some of you may know at least, I work in the field of English lingua franca, and well, I just wanted you to know that this thing exists because, well, I used it when designing my paragraph, but it doesn't mean that it's exclusively based on the lingua franca core, as you're going to see in a moment. However, it was definitely present when designing it. There is also a lingua franca core for Spanish speakers, so this is basically a list of features which are deemed necessary to be understood in international English. And there are many books that you can consult if you want to find out more. These two are about the pronunciation of international English, or English as lingua franca, Jennifer Jenkins and Robin Walker, so the year 2000 and the year 2010. And then we also have these two books that I would like us to that I would like to draw your attention to, which are on the specific difficulties that Spanish speakers might have in English. They're obviously not on the difficulties of Spanish speakers. It's just English phonetics and phonology for Spanish speakers. But as that is the target group, then obviously they will contain loads of information related to those difficulties that I've just mentioned. And there is still a lot of research which I've also based all this work on, apart from my apart from my professional experience. So now, what is an elicitation paragraph? An elicitation paragraph was based on elicitation, and to elicit means to take something out of someone else, okay, to get something out of someone else without necessarily giving it to them. So in the case of elicitation in language, that's when an instructor or a researcher tries to make someone produce content without previously giving it to them, okay? So you can elicit a word when you don't give the word to the people, but you give them certain clues in order to get that word, okay? An elicitation paragraph is a text, in this context, to elicit specific pronunciation features, okay? And mostly those pronunciation features are phonemes, well, clusters, but they can also be related to stress. It's obviously non-spontaneous speech because a paragraph means that it's read, so it may not be, the best thing for intonation patterns, okay? But using the same text for many speakers instead of using extemporaneous speech may be good because in this way you can compare those speakers, okay? So it's good for comparability. And obviously it can be used in both assessment and in research. Now we're going to take a look at some elicitation paragraphs, which were already available when I started designing mine. And the questions I asked myself when evaluating those were related to the phonological component, the lexical component, or the difficulty of the paragraph, and also its length. Okay, so there should be a balance, this trade-off between length and phonological content. So it should be short enough but contain all the all the necessary information. So let's take a look at the first. You may be familiar with it. That's the Please Call Stella from the Speech Accent Archive, which is a great website. Okay. The problem with this paragraph is that although it's very short, 69 words, it's missing certain phonemes, such as y, j, or j, or the vowel which is very, very central to the lingua franca core. Okay, and also, has only 69 words, and some of these are very low frequency, like, for example, sclabs or scoop. Sorry, there is a parenthesis missing here. Then we got the Rainbow Passage from the 1960s. It's long, okay? It's good for diction, but not for L2 pronunciation, There are loads of words such as imposition, refraction, prism, which are very, very low frequency. And, well, overall, this is fairly complicated. There are also, like, the Norseman, Aristotle, and so on. We don't want our L2 students to be forced to pronounce this. If we want to, evaluate their pronunciation, this may evaluate other aspects. We're going to come back to this in a moment. But then we got the North Wind and the Sun, which is a fable used by the IPA, and it's great, but we've only got 64 different words in different types out of 113 tokens. There are no initial or medial z. There is no j and th. No final consonant clusters ending in s and z. So, well, and z. Sorry, the phoneme. So, well, still loads of things missing. And then we've got Robin Walker's elicitation paragraph, which is supposed to be based on the, the lingua franca core, but still it misses some, medial or final b and g, which may be problematic for Spanish students. The contrast I and E, which is by far the most important contrast in the English vowel system, is not well represented, just like the vowel okay. Again, the nurse vowel is missing, and this is a core vowel, okay, in English as lingua franca. And, well, basically there is a question mark missing, and there is a comma missing. There are words such as freehand and illustrator. We don't need that word, okay, because we don't want to make it about, the people knowing complicated words and knowing brands and how to pronounce them. We want to make it about pronunciation and how they, to target specific phonemes and not specific words. So the proposal, this is the paragraph. I'm just going to play part of it.
The sun was rising slowly and the birds were singing. The view from the top of the hill was amazing. Susan turned round and stepped heavily into the kitchen.
So just for you to get an idea of what it's like, so this is the whole paragraph, and now we're going to take a look at this in more. So as you're going to see, it's 147 words. It includes all the phonemes in the English language, including all consonants and vowels. It's based on the lingua franca core, but it's not exclusively about the lingua franca core because it's got all the phonemes. They're all in a variety of positions. We're going to take a very brief look at that in a moment. All words, all the words except for proper names are on the Longman 3000 list. And it uses mostly simple and coordinated sentences. If we use the Cambridge Text Inspector to analyze it, we're going to realize that most of the text, so in terms of the types of words, we've got 60% and 71% of the tokens are at A1 level. Okay, so it's a very, very simple text. Okay, there is only one word, skip, at B2. Okay, so that basically means that, well, if we use this text, we're going to be looking at pronunciation and not at lexical knowledge, lexical processing, because they're very simple words, everybody's going to know them, and the only variable is going to be their pronunciation. Now let's examine the paragraph in more detail. the paragraph is accompanied by a list of phonemes, this phoneme inventory line by line. So for example, in line 1, you can see the sun was rising slowly. We've got s, z, w, r, ng, l. And then we've got a cluster, which is sl. And then we've got the vowels a, the vowel I, and the vowel o. And this is provided for all the lines. So as you can see here, there is another inventory, which is a consonant inventory. You can consult every single consonant that you need, which is present in different positions at the beginning, at the end, in the middle, and in clusters belonging to the same syllables. So, for example, for the phoneme Z, we've got Zoe at the beginning, was at the end, in the middle, rising, amazing, Susan, easy, and as. Although this is a grammar word, grammar words are normally in brackets unless they're auxiliary verbs with a clear vowel. And then we've got birds as a cluster. Okay, so this was piloted in this little study where, well, there were correlations between comprehensibility, which was measured using data from the paragraph, and intelligibility, which is a different test, which means that, well, those were related. So it could be said that this was successful. And then in another study, for example, you can see that again there were correlations between comprehensibility, foreign accentedness, and intelligibility. Intelligibility was based on a different measurement, but comprehensibility and foreign accentedness here in this study were measured using the elicitation paragraph. Okay, so you can take a look at that study. And now, just concluding, this is a little methodological proposal. It's a new original paragraph for use with speakers of different L1s. It's controlled for phonological content. It has all the phonemes in different configurations, and it can be used for different languages. Okay, sorry, there was an S missing here. And it's controlled, okay, for difficulty as well, because we want to avoid a situation in which the students are actually having problems with the vocabulary and not so much with the pronunciation. So the student can be able to pronounce the phoneme Z, but they may not know that it actually has to be pronounced somewhere, okay, because they don't know the word. So we need high frequency words which have been acquired by people at a certain level, at a low level. Okay, and this can be used with all the levels starting at that level. Okay, so starting at, even A2, B1 through to C2. Okay, and as you can see, this has been tested. It's free to use. You can now see it as an appendix in this publication. Okay, and then we've got some room for future improvements. I would like to remove Zoe from it because many people have had problems pronouncing it, and they said Thoe, and so on. Okay, so well, using proper nouns, proper names, unless they're very, very common, well, may lead you into the same trap as using high frequency words. Okay, so that is lesson learned. Thank you very much for your attention, and well, I'm waiting for your comments and questions. Thank you again. Have a great day.